Greetings Zombie Slayers, Super Jim here. Welcome to part 5 of my solo high round strategy guide for Origins on Black Ops 2 Zombies. And in the section just before this, what happened was we actually killed another Panzer Soldat, and now we've got a huge train of zombies that chase us down here to Generator 2. So we're going to have to get out of here. We'll get a few points just before we head up back through to No Man's Land. And I'm going to need quite a few points later on because I still have to get monkeys and stuff like that out of the box that ideally you do want to get because they make things helpful. Especially when the Panzer Soldat comes along in the really high rounds. They're a good way of getting rid of the other zombies while you take him out with something like the Broomhilda. So we'll lead them up here towards the Jug location. And then we're going to do the little mini puzzle part of the Easter egg to set up the ultimate ice staff. We're just going to thin out these zombies and leave a couple left over while we do that part of the Easter egg. So just going to run a train around Jug. You'll see me doing this later on as part of the high round strategy. It's not quite so easy in these lower rounds because you don't get the zombie spawn rate quite as fast as in the higher rounds. It's actually way easier from round 40 onwards to train zombies up in any zombies map simply because you get the maximum speed of spawn rate happening. They all spawn within about a second of each other, and then basically you just form your train super easy. That's why these lower levels can actually be tougher to run trains in. So yeah. Okay, heading down here now, what we're going to do is we're going to find 3 tombstones around the map. These tombstones have water running over them for some unexplained reason. What you have to do is freeze them with the ice staff and then shoot them with a regular weapon that shoots bullets. So the ray gun and the Broomhilda will not work on them. And that will shatter the stone. You need to do that to all 3 stones to move on to the next part of building the ultimate ice staff. So here is where one is located, right next to this fallen robot out the back of the tank station. And that is done. You can see there that Broomhilda, the little lasers that it fires, don't shatter, for whatever reason, the frozen headstone. Now, I did mention in the last part of this walkthrough that you really want to get Mule Kick because by this stage you've probably got the ray gun or Broomhilda, and you don't want to have to swap that out for a gun that shoots bullets because it's kind of a waste. And we're just getting Speed Cola here, of course, which is a really, really good perk to have for when you have to kill the zombies in the crazy place. You'll see that a bit later, guys. But someone actually made a good suggestion to me. One of my Twitter followers, Emmett Richardson, actually gave me this suggestion that if you don't have Mule Kick or you can't afford it or whatever, you've got another perk or something instead. What you can actually do is freeze all 3 headstones, and we're coming up to the second headstone around here, just to show you the location right there near the excavation site, and the other one is located over here, not far from Jug, near the MP40 in this location. Right there, that's the third one. Done. Anyway, what he said was basically if you freeze all 3 of them with the ice staff, then you can just swap out the ice staff for any wall weapon. You can get a cheap weapon like the ballista, for example, and then just shoot them like that and it's done, and then you can pick up the ice staff again. So I thought that was a good suggestion, guys, and thanks for that. By the way, if you do want to follow me on Twitter, the Twitter link is in the description, and there is where you will see me tweeting out for people to play with at certain times. So I know a lot of you guys have been requesting to play with me and do stuff like that. Well, that's probably the best way to get a chance of doing that. Okay, now the next step here is we got to shoot that blue orb. We have already set up all 4 blue dials. So you'll see they rotate and basically reset. And once we've done that, we're going to go to the crazy place and we're going to place the ice staff into its pedestal. Now at this point, what you have to do to make this ultimate is simply kill enough zombies in the crazy place. Once you've placed this thing on its pedestal, the zombie souls will be absorbed into the staff, and after a certain number of zombie souls are absorbed, it will become the ultimate staff and you'll be able to pick it up. It seems to be not that many, probably about 20 zombies, similar to the step with getting the G-Strike monkey bomb grenades, which I'm not going to show you in this walkthrough because they're not essential unless you do the Easter egg. But I have a video on that. If you want to see that, go check out my channel. You'll find it there. So we'll place that in the pedestal there. Now, I'm going to do 2 of these staffs ultimate at the same time here in the crazy place, just to save me having to come down here twice to kill zombies. And the second one we're going to do for this walkthrough is the wind staff, which is probably the best staff in terms of what it does, because it has the same sort of distraction if you charge it as the ice staff. Will take out a whole horde of zombies, plus the first few that spawn usually, which is pretty cool. And it can also blast zombies out of your path if they're blocking you off, sort of like having the thunder gun. So that's what makes it the best, but in terms of those features, but unfortunately it just doesn't have enough, as much ammo as the ice staff does, which makes the ice staff actually the best overall. But I like both of them for high rounds, because if one runs out of ammo, you can just pick up the other one and use that, and hopefully you get a max ammo at some point. But we also have our reward earned, which gives us the free max ammo from the reward box, and that's pretty easy to get, and it's good to save that for the really high rounds when eventually you may need it. Although you can actually dig up max ammos once you get the golden shovel as well, occasionally from the little grave sites that you dig up around the map. So there's a few ways you can get it, and in Black Ops 2 you tend to get a ton of drops early each round as well.
Maybe I should hang on.
Okay, so we still haven't actually built the wind staff, so what I'm going to do is we grab that crystal there, or the stone, or whatever you want to call that, and we're going to head back through the portal and build this down the bottom of the excavation area. And then we've got to do another little puzzle back in the main part of the map. Now, by the time you get to the point where you want to make these staffs ultimate, you want to make sure you've got some really good weapons, because it's usually around 15 to 20 maybe that you have to go into the crazy place and kill zombies to make them into ultimate staffs. And it can get pretty dangerous in there, especially close quarters, because of the falling walls and stuff like that. And what you will want to make sure is you have some really, really good guns. So I recommend, stuff like, ultimately the Ray Gun Mark II would probably be the best to have. The Broomhilder, pretty much everyone can get that if they have enough to pack a punch, because you can get the Mauser out of the grave piles as well. And we're just setting up the yellow dolls this time for the wind staff. You can also use the regular ray gun. Combined especially with Flopper, it is pretty awesome for the step that we'll get to. Okay, so just setting up all of these dolls here. Have to make them all go yellow this time for the wind staff. Just the one left. Now you can drop down here and just jump up to flick the switch from that location, by the way. You don't have to go all the way around like I'm doing here. There's a couple of things in this actual playthrough that I'm just going to explain where I could have perhaps improved my strategy a little bit as well, because there's been a few things I've picked up even since I played this. Okay, so that's done. Alright, now what we have to do next is we actually have to head around back to the crazy place, the wind crazy place tunnel, and we've got to do another puzzle in the crazy place and then come back out. Now with this particular puzzle, what you have to do is you have to match the symbols on the ceiling. There are basically 4 lines radiating out from a center of the circle, and you have to line up the sum of these symbols, which represent numbers, with the numbers represented by symbols on the walls. Now that might sound complicated, but all you really have to do is look at these symbols in the video, just freeze frame it or whatever, and then make sure you're matching those symbols because the puzzle is exactly the same every single time. So this one I'm doing is the puzzle, or is lining up these symbols here for the symbols on the far left hand side, which it looks like it says ILL there, but those symbols are actually representing the number 122 in quaternary numerical system. But if you line up those symbols like you'll see me do here in a second, just there you see we've cracked the puzzle. Now one thing to remember is if you get it exactly right and you're wondering why the hell it's not working, some of these symbols, some of these discs have the same symbol more than once in the ring. So just make sure you turn it to the next one that's the same, and it'll usually be right, because all four have to get, you have to get the right combination of symbols for all four. Hopefully I haven't overcomplicated that explanation, guys, but the main thing is just line up the symbols exactly the way I did and you will be good to go. Now what we have to do next, guys, is we have to use the wind staff to shoot 4 of these round stone objects found throughout the map. The first one is right there near Jug. The next one we're going to is through this area, not far from the excavation site, this narrow trenched area. Just as you get to the end, you can see these all will be smoking like that. So that's the second one we're going to get. The third one is up, not far from Stamina, up in this area here next to this cart. Done. And the fourth one is located in kind of an annoying area around on the tank track. So you have to go out the back through the church and around that way from this location. And so it's sort of similar to the step where you shoot the gravestones for the ice stuff. None of this is terribly difficult. It's just a little bit annoying, a little bit time consuming. Okay. So at this point you'll get that beam of light coming up through the center of where those dials are into the sky.
I can feel it.
And we're going to go head back to the crazy place in a moment, but we've got to shoot a yellow glowing ball down below here. What do you guys think of Samantha's voice in this map? Personally, it really annoys me that they made her into a girl with an American accent, because in the original the original first time we ever heard Samantha's voice was in Riese way back in World at War, and both in the radio logs or messages or whatever they were in Riese, and there's several of them where she speaks. And also in the Easter egg, in the flytrap Easter egg, and in the monkey bomb Easter egg, where you throw the monkey bomb into the furnace, and she, basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just listen to my intro and outro, because that's where that comes from. It's basically the audio from those Easter eggs in Riese with Samantha speaking. That's what she actually sounds like. Quite different from the girl or the voice actor that they've used for Samantha in this map, where she has an American accent. And she's supposed to be a German girl. I mean, that's always been the storyline. Always, throughout all Zombies maps. And now in this map, she's like an American. I know the cutscene, I guess you could kind of explain it via that, is that she's not actually Maxis's daughter or something like that. I don't know. But I don't buy it, guys. I really think that they've butchered the whole storyline and kind of ruined it for a lot of the old Zombies fans in the cutscene at the end of the Easter egg in this map. Okay, so what I'm doing now, guys, is I'm going to hit the mystery box. I'm going to speed this section up because I have to hit the mystery box a lot here and it gets a bit, you know, monotonous. So what I have to do next to get these two staffs ultimate is, as I said before, I have to kill a ton of zombies in the crazy place. So I want to make sure I got some really beast weapons, and I'd really like to get monkey bombs, and I'd really like to try and get something something else that's going to carry me.
Mr. Monkey just wanted to play.